So here's an update on the Ultimate Warrior figure. His arm uh, dried up after, 2 days. And when I say I pulled it back out of my closet after letting it fully dry, there is like all of these like super glue, like all basically the super glue dried up. I took him out of my closet and he had like all of this dried up super glue all over his arm. Like somehow a lot of it got like all over here on his arm. Like, hold on. Like all over here on his arm. A little bit for the front side on his arm. How the back side was really bad. All over the back side here. Like a bunch for the front side here of his arm. And I'm like, okay, I gotta end up somehow cleaning that up. So I tried many different methods. Many different methods, and I finally came to the conclusion, what if I could just scrape a lot of that dried up glue off of his arm? Try to clean it up. And I did. I took my chainsaw tool, I cleaned it off just to make sure that I don't get the figure dirty, and I used this part of the tool right here, and it got like a majority of all this dried up glue all over his arm. Heck, some of the dried up glue even between like the crevice there. I know there's still a lot there, but that I cleaned up as well. Like there's a lot like over here between the crevice. Like there's a lot, actually, let me take the thing. There's a lot between like all inside of here, and a lot just coming down his arm here between the crevice. There's just a lot. And I took this tool, and it got like a majority of all of like this dried up glue off of his arm. Now, granted, there's still a good amount of dried up glue like between the crack there, as you could see. I know my lighting fucking sucks, but it looks way better now. Now, from afar, come on, focus. From afar, you can't really tell that his arm has been fixed up from afar at all. It looks really good, even from the backside here. You can't tell that, it's been fixed on at all, which is what I wanted it to be originally, and everything. But, yeah, and such. So I took like 2 hours. I used this tool, cleaned a lot of like this dried up glue that was like all over his arm. Heck, between where the crack was at and such, there's like basically, it looks way better now, as you can see. It looks way better. But originally, between his arm here, it looked like there was just a big swoop of like white glue, like coming from basically right here, between the arm right here, all the way to the other side right about here. Just all white glue. And it was really rough too. Now when I touch it, it's not so rough and not so jagged feeling, But yeah, I was like, okay, this got to be a little cleaned up and such. I didn't want to be too rough because I didn't want to like mess the arm up or whatever, But I was like, I gotta somehow clean a little bit of this up. It looked really bad at first, and I did. I cleaned a lot of it up, got majority of all this fucking glue that was all over his arm, and such, all over his arm and such, all cleaned up. So it was bad. Like, I wish I did before photos, because it was just horrible. I was like, oh my god, what did I do? But I managed to fix it. Looks way better. I am still crazy enough, I could honestly, when I get more money together, I could literally just buy a whole nother one again and just wish for the best, but this looks way better than it did now. At least now from afar. You can't tell. Like hell, even from afar, it's really hard to tell that I fixed on it at all. So, before you would see like all these black dots and a big noticeable white line, like a big noticeable white line through the crack, or where the crack used to be, all the way like around his arm here. It was nuts. It was nuts. But I fixed it. It looks way better now. Maybe you can notice in the other video, but I definitely fixed that. It looks way better now. Way better. So it's not all fucking jagged edged and shit now. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe. I guess this tool definitely did some wonders. That's about it. A little update on basically how I fixed it even more, I guess. So,